If we find the orientation of the Shaft 2 tunnel, we should be very, very close to the original money pit. That's huge. That's the holy grail of Oak Island. Where's the original money pit?
Picture this. After more than 200 years of failed digs, mysterious clues, and millions spent chasing legends, the Oak Island team may have just uncovered the discovery of a lifetime. Moments ago, reports began circulating that the crew struck what could be over $250 million worth of hidden Templar gold buried deep beneath Oak Island. But here's the part nobody saw coming. The treasure wasn't where anyone expected it to be. For decades, experts believed the legendary vault was hidden inside the infamous money pit. But what the team uncovered this time points to a completely different location, one connected to ancient symbols, underground tunnels, and a secret the Knights Templar may have protected for centuries. Eyewitnesses say the moment the scanners hit the target, the entire operation stopped. Then came the signal. Metal. A lot of metal. And when they finally brought up the first artifact from underground, even the veteran treasure hunters were left speechless. Was this the breakthrough that finally solves Oak Island's greatest mystery? Or could the island still be hiding something even bigger beneath the surface? Before we reveal the shocking evidence, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because if you're fascinated by hidden treasures, ancient secrets, and discoveries that challenge history itself, you won't want to miss what comes next. Stay with us, because the footage, discoveries, and incredible details you're about to see could change everything we thought we knew about Oak Island forever. The 40,000-pound mystery. For years, the enormous boulder on Lot 8 has puzzled researchers, but its true significance didn't begin to emerge until investigators took a closer look beneath it. At first glance, it might seem like just another massive rock left behind by ancient glaciers. But a closer inspection revealed something far more intriguing. Unlike a typical glacial boulder that lands randomly and remains where nature leaves it, this stone appeared to have been intentionally positioned. Smaller rocks had been carefully placed around its edges, evenly spaced as if they were supporting and stabilizing the massive weight above. Experts studying the arrangement noted striking similarities to construction techniques seen at ancient megalithic sites across parts of France and northern Spain, where builders deliberately secured large stones using supporting foundations. The pattern didn't look accidental. The spacing was too precise. The structure seemed too organized. Everything suggested that someone had intentionally set this boulder in place, using methods linked to centuries-old European building traditions. Before attempting to move the stone, the team inserted a snake camera underneath to investigate what might be hidden below. What appeared on the monitor immediately captured everyone's attention. The camera revealed what looked like an iron stake embedded in the earth. Nearby was an object resembling a pearl, partially buried in the soil. Even deeper, investigators noticed material threaded with golden-colored streaks that displayed a shine remarkably similar to gold. It's important to emphasize that these observations remain unconfirmed. No laboratory testing has verified the materials, and no samples have undergone formal analysis. The footage came from a small camera operating in a dark, confined space beneath a 40,000-pound rock. Visibility was limited, and the objects have not yet been physically examined. Even so, the combination of unusual materials beneath a carefully positioned stone is difficult to ignore. Metal objects and possible valuable minerals hidden below what appears to be a deliberately engineered structure raise obvious questions. Someone took considerable effort to place this boulder where it sits today, and the methods used seem connected to construction practices that originated in Western Europe centuries before colonial settlement reached the area. So, what was actually beneath the stone? To find out, the team brought in heavy equipment and carefully lifted the giant boulder from its resting place. For what may have been the first time in centuries, the ground below was exposed. Leading the excavation was archaeologist Fiona Steele, and what her team uncovered was unlike anything previously documented on Oak Island. Directly beneath the boulder lay a tightly fitted arrangement of flat stones forming a cradle-like platform. Rather than being scattered naturally, the stones had been carefully placed together in a mosaic-style pattern, creating a solid and intentional foundation. The workmanship was unmistakable. This was not a geological formation created by natural forces. It appeared to be a man-made structure, designed with purpose. Further examination revealed something equally fascinating. Steele identified 3 different bonding materials holding the foundation together. One resembled a fine powdered mortar. Another consisted of blue-gray clay mixed with charcoal, remarkably similar to puddling clay discovered elsewhere on Oak Island, including areas around the Money Pit and Lot 5. The third was a much harder, cement-like substance with distinct structural properties. Finding 3 separate bonding agents within a single construction is highly unusual. It may indicate that the structure was modified during different periods, or that builders intentionally selected different materials for specific engineering purposes. Either possibility points toward a level of planning and sophistication far beyond ordinary construction. Scientific testing by Emma Culligan and Dr. Ian Spooner suggested the materials could date from some time after the 1200s, but before the 1800s. While that range spans several centuries, the earliest possible dates are what draw attention. If parts of the structure truly originated in the medieval era, they would predate both the famous 1795 Money Pit discovery and the established timeline of European settlement in the region. Then another discovery shifted the investigation in an entirely new direction. Soil samples collected beneath the boulder revealed unusually high concentrations of lead. While typical Oak Island soil contains around 12 parts per million, samples from beneath the stone measured approximately 140 parts per million, more than 11 times higher than normal. Researchers also found that the lead was associated with layers of ash and coal extending downward through the soil profile. This combination is significant because elevated lead, mixed with evidence of burning fuel, is often linked to metal smelting activities. In other words, the area may not simply have been used to store something valuable. It may have been a location where metals were actually processed. If that's correct, the boulder could have concealed more than a hiding place. It may have covered the remains of a centuries-old workshop. And that brings us to one of Oak Island's most fascinating figures, Samuel Ball. Ball arrived on Oak Island around 1787 after earning his freedom through military service during the American Revolution. Born into slavery in South Carolina, he later relocated to Nova Scotia as part of the Black Loyalist migration. When he arrived, he possessed little wealth or influence. Yet by the time of his death in 1846, he owned 9 lots totaling 36 acres, including both Lot 8 and land surrounding the Money Pit. Historical records describe him as one of the wealthiest individuals in the region. Officially, Samuel Ball was a cabbage farmer, and that's where the mystery begins. Many researchers have questioned how cabbage farming alone could generate the remarkable fortune Ball accumulated. He wasn't known as a major merchant, ship owner, or trader. Yet somehow he acquired extensive landholdings and significant wealth on a remote island. One theory suggests Ball may have discovered something valuable long before the Oak Island treasure hunt became famous. Unlike later searchers who visited for short expeditions, Ball lived on the island year-round and worked the land daily. If hidden tunnels, artifacts, or buried materials existed beneath the surface, he would have had decades to encounter them. Adding to the speculation, ground-penetrating radar surveys near Ball's property revealed what appears to be an underground tunnel with no obvious farming purpose. If Ball uncovered and quietly benefited from whatever lay beneath Oak Island, his rise in wealth becomes easier to explain. Without such a discovery, historians continue to struggle with finding an alternative answer. Meanwhile, Lot 8 continues producing artifacts that deepen the mystery. Over the years, metal detecting expert Gary Drayton recovered a variety of intriguing objects from the area. Among them was a hand-forged iron chopping knife dating to the mid-1700s, likely used by a laborer or craftsman during the colonial era. He also uncovered an iron pintle, a type of hinge component whose design can be traced back thousands of years. Alongside it was a rhodolite garnet, adding another unexpected piece to the puzzle. Together, these discoveries suggest repeated human activity across vastly different time periods, concentrated within the same small section of land. Yet perhaps the most remarkable find involved two fragments of a broken copper tube recovered by Drayton and Jack Begley. Inside the tube was a soft material that appeared to be parchment, fragile, aged, and seemingly preserved within the metal container. If confirmed, this discovery could be extremely significant. A copper tube designed to protect documents underground isn't the kind of object someone accidentally loses. It represents deliberate planning. Someone took the time to preserve information, seal it inside a protective casing, and bury it where it could survive for generations. Should future analysis verify that the material is indeed parchment, it would provide some of the strongest evidence yet that Lot 8 played a role in a carefully organized operation whose true purpose remains hidden to this day. Taken together, the discoveries from Lot 8 point towards something far more significant than a random collection of buried objects. The evidence suggests the area was used by organized, knowledgeable people who intentionally left their mark behind. This doesn't look like a place where artifacts simply accumulated by chance over time. When you step back and examine everything recovered from Lot 8, a remarkable pattern begins to emerge. There is a hinge design connected to ancient civilizations, construction materials that may date back to the medieval era, a colonial period iron knife, a gemstone, and what could be a purpose-built container created to preserve written documents underground. It's difficult to explain such a wide range of artifacts through a single event. Instead, the picture that forms is of a location that remained important across generations. It appears to have been visited, abandoned, and revisited over long stretches of time by people who understood its significance and knew exactly where to find it. Now compare that to the story of the Money Pit. Ever since three young men discovered a strange depression in the ground in 1795, the Money Pit has dominated every discussion about Oak Island. It became the focal point of the mystery, the place where treasure hunters believed the island's greatest secret was hidden. For more than 2 centuries, explorers have poured enormous amounts of money, effort, and hope into that single location. Shaft after shaft has been excavated. Massive drilling operations have taken place. Entire generations of treasure hunters have devoted their lives to solving the puzzle buried beneath that spot. Yet despite 230 years of searching, no confirmed treasure has ever been recovered from the money pit. Even the deepest modern excavations, including large caisson operations that reached more than 200 feet down to bedrock, failed to uncover the legendary vault many expected to find. Instead, investigators encountered boulders, collapsed passages, flooded voids, and scattered clues suggesting that something may once have existed there. The site has produced intriguing evidence. Researchers have detected traces of precious metals in underground water samples. They have mapped tunnels, cavities, and unexplained anomalies. Every season seems to reveal another promising lead that encourages the search to continue. But the reality remains unchanged. The money pit has generated questions. It has not produced treasure. Now look at what Lot 8 has delivered. Researchers uncovered mortar that may date back to the 1200s. Soil analysis revealed lead concentrations more than 11 times higher than normal, mixed with ash and coal deposits commonly associated with metal processing activities. Beneath a massive 40,000-pound boulder, the team discovered a carefully engineered stone foundation constructed with multiple types of bonding material. Add to that an assortment of artifacts spanning thousands of years, including a possible document tube containing preserved parchment, and the story becomes even harder to ignore. Then there is Samuel Ball. Ball owned Lot 8. He owned property surrounding the money pit. He lived on Oak Island for decades and eventually became one of the wealthiest men in the region, despite being officially known as a cabbage farmer. The contrast is striking. The money pit offers a compelling legend. Lot 8 offers physical evidence. For years, researcher Fred Nolan argued that Oak Island's secret was never hidden in a single location. He believed the island functioned as a larger system, with multiple important sites connected to one another rather than one central treasure vault. At the time, many people dismissed that theory because nearly all attention remained focused on the money pit. But recent discoveries have begun shifting the conversation. As more evidence emerges, Nolan's idea no longer seems like a fringe theory. It is increasingly becoming a serious possibility. And if that theory is correct, Lot 8 may represent one of the most important locations ever discovered on Oak Island. Not the famous money pit, not a deep underground shaft, but a piece of land sitting right beside it, hidden beneath a giant boulder that countless people walked past without ever realizing what might be underneath. For over 200 years, treasure hunters concentrated their efforts on a single hole in the ground. Yet the discoveries on Lot 8 raise an intriguing possibility. The real story may have been visible all along, concealed beneath a stone resting quietly on the surface. And if the money pit is only one part of a much larger network spread across the island, then the mystery of Oak Island could be far bigger than anyone ever imagined.